So it's absolutely roasting hot here in Australia at the moment as it is the middle of summer. So I've finally bitten the bullet and bought a awning for the side of the van here. And this is a Fiamma 3 meter F45S. So this is the aluminium wind out model. So I'm going to be mounting it to my roof rack here with all the brackets that it came with. So this is a bit of a install and review video. It's not sponsored, so it's going to be authentic. Yeah, it's going to be pretty easy to install. So let's get started. Okay, so the whole idea of actually putting this up came from, because it is so hot, we want some shade, but also when it rains or just sprinkles, we can't really open this door because the rain just comes straight in. So the idea is with this awning, you can wind it out about 1 meter without having to put the legs down, and which is great for if we just park somewhere and it starts to sprinkle, but we want to keep the door open, we can just wind it out about 1 meter to stop the water from coming into the van. So that means when I'm mounting it, I kind of got to move it forward of this door. So I'm going to install it about 10 mil forward of this door, so it gives me enough wiggle room for when it's raining. The sideways rain hopefully won't come into the van. So let's try to figure this out then. So there's a whole bunch of ways to mount those Fiamma awnings to any vans, depending on if it's a curved or a flat surface. So the kit comes with a flat mounting bracket. There's 3 of these, and I'm lucky enough that I'm going to be mounting it to the flat part of my roof rack, so it's a very easy install for me, and it's great because I don't have to drill into the van shell at all, which is also great because I won't be able to access the inside of the shell because it's already cladded to put the plate on the back. So the way this works, there's a couple of these brackets, there's 3 of them. That's going to go through my roof rack cross member, and then it's basically a plate at the back and 2 locking nuts. Then the whole thing just clips onto this, and there's a couple of screws that put it in. So it's already stated on the awning where you're supposed to space them out. So I'm going to measure it up there now and drill some holes. Okay, hasn't been very long and I've already come into my very first hurdle, and that is the mounting bracket location. And the reason lies with, because they suggest that the mounting brackets need to be in these special spots for the end pieces where they've marked out supports, and that's because that's where the arm extends from. They essentially want a bracket at the joint of that extension to give it maximum support, I suppose, to stop the whole thing twisting. The problem I've got is that my roof rack up here actually sits quite far back from the edge of this door, which means I'm going to be putting the bracket around about here, which is about 200 mils to the right of where it's supposed to be. I don't really know how to solve that, except for adding an extension piece on my roof rack that goes out to the side, which I might have to do, but I'm going to go against the recommendation and just see what happens and take it really easy, and I'll monitor it and make sure that I don't damage it at all. And if need be, I will add an extension to the side of the roof rack and mount it properly. And I have been seeing online, a lot of people are doing this anyway, so I don't know if it's going to be an issue or not. That's not what they recommend in the manual, so I'll see how it goes. Have you ever dreamt of building your own camper van but just don't know where to start? Let's change that. Van Build Academy is the ultimate online course designed to take you from where do I even start to look at my awesome home on wheels. With easy to follow step-by-step video tutorials, expert guidance, and a community of builders, you'll learn everything from electrical, plumbing, insulation, design layouts, and so much more. Your dream van isn't going to build itself, but I'll show you exactly how to do it. Join Van Build Academy today and learn how to build a van just like this. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can find out more information. So the bolts are M6, so I'm drilling a 6.5 mil hole. Just marked my first hole out here, so let's give it a go. Okay, so the way these things are mounted is, it's a bolt. They recommend putting a washer on there. I don't know if I really absolutely need it because I'm not going to be needing to seal anything from water getting into the van. It's just the roof rack, but I'm going to put it on there anyway. It might work for some shock absorption. This goes into the mounting bracket. The washer goes on both of these. This goes through the holes I just drilled, and then I attach the mounting plate to the backing plate. Okay, so these are locking nuts too, so you won't need to put any thread locker on there. They're going to stay nice and tight as the van vibrates and shakes around. So I just got to tighten those up. I think it's about a 10 mil, and I'll move on to the rest of the brackets. but I'll be able to mount those ones in the correct locations because I'll have the space. And I've finished putting on the last mount. So now I'm going to attach the awning into the mount, and it should be pretty simple. It's just clipping in, and then there's a little screw that goes underneath all of the mounts that should just lock it into place. It is pretty heavy, and I've got an old rickety ladder. Hope it's going to go all right. Like that. Ah, it's easy. Okay, that was much easier than I was expecting. Now I've just got to lock these little screws in place. But I'll take the plastic off now, see what it looks like. Wow, that looks so good. All right, now I've got to secure the awning to these brackets, and there are holes underneath the bracket here. So this one has one and the other ones have two, but you only need to put in one in each bracket. So the way I got to do this is I actually got to roll this out about 1 meter so I can get inside the awning, and then I got to drill a hole through the awning on this hole here, and then I've got a little M5 bolt that's got to screw in. The only problem is while it's up there I can't actually get a drill in, so I'm going to mark these all out where I want to drill the holes, and then I'm going to lift the awning off the brackets again and then lower it back down. So I suppose the reason why they only get you to put in one of these screws when there's two brackets is because you can see that this is actually blocking the screw. So I've managed to push this a little bit to the right so I can actually get one of these in, and this one is going to be obstructed by this mechanism, and so goes for the other two. I've marked where all the holes are going to be drilled. I'm just going to lift the whole awning back up onto the roof rack, drill out those holes with a 5.5 mil hole, and then put the screws in. Okay, so the screw is in here, and then it's got the locking nut which goes in here, and as you can see I'd only be able to fit this one, as in this mechanism would be stopped by this hole. So I've done it for the middle bracket and then the one at the end as well, and now it is pretty much done. Whew, what a day. Right, let's see how it comes out. So it's got these little legs that pop out from the front, and you're supposed to put this out when you're about 1 meter or so from winding out, and then you can continue to walk the legs out as far as it needs to go. Voila! It actually was a little bit more tricky than I was anticipating, probably because it was so bloody hot, but it is a pretty simple install on a usual day. So this little rod that you unscrew the awning with comes with a clip that you can clip it onto something in the van. I've actually got a long storage area where I'm going to be sliding it in, so I don't need to worry about that. So the other option that this awning actually comes with is the ability to side mount these legs with these brackets by mounting the brackets onto the side of the van. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't actually have very good access to the side of the van, and if I was going to do it, I'd probably use a blind riv nut. Okay, so it's been about 3 months since I've installed this awning now, so I want to give a little bit of my 2 cents about what I've found from using it. Firstly, as you can see, that took me less than 30 seconds to set that up by myself, which is what I love about this awning. You can set it up with just one person, and it is super quick and easy to set up. So because of that, we've used it quite a lot throughout this trip. Those awnings that you have to roll up a lot, they take a lot longer, and a lot of the times people don't want to put them out just because they are a bit of a hassle. But we've been putting this up anywhere we want. If it's been raining, if it's been windy, if it's been sunny and hot, it's great. It's pretty versatile in what it can do, but there are some limitations to what I have found. Firstly, the issue that I found when I was installing it and not putting the bracket where it needed to be for the winding out support, I found it hasn't been a major issue. I've been monitoring it when I wind it out, and it does actually flex a little bit, but that's just about as far as it goes. And as soon as you put the leg supports down, it stops that flexing. So I think I'm gonna leave it like that, the way it is, and I'm not gonna add those extra supports unless I see something seriously get bent up there, which I don't think it will, but I am being quite careful with it. So the first thing you realize when you roll this awning out and there is any wind, that it actually causes a little bit of a problem. First thing I do is when I roll this thing out is that I'll peg these supports into the ground with a little bit of a stake that stops it from bouncing. The next thing I want to do is use these channel hangers that I picked up from a camping shop, and they run into the channels of the awning here. And there's two channels, one above the other. You run them all the way out to one side, and then it gives you a hook to attach a rope to, and then you can pin it down with the rope and peg it into the ground like you would a tent, and it really secures these corners down into the ground and will stop it from taking off or damaging the awning from the wind, which is actually quite easy to do. And I've read a lot of people have damaged their awning from the wind picking it up and twisting and bending the frame. The other thing that the wind causes a problem with is flapping. So that is when the fabric of the awning actually flaps up and down in the wind, and it causes quite a lot of noise. The way you can get around that is they actually sell an anti-flapping kit, which is basically an aluminium strut that clamps onto the fabric and kind of tightens it and stops it from being able to flap. I haven't used it because I haven't really found it that annoying, and when it is really, really windy, we just don't put it out. And then the last advantage I find having an awning like this is you're able to dry your laundry or wet clothes under the awning when it is raining or it's going to be a damp night. You can hang a rope around the awning, and then you can hang your laundry under the awning so it dries at night. And we've used this numerous times. It saved us a lot because on the road, if we're not near a town, we can do our laundry and then we'll have a place to dry it overnight, as drying clothes in a van is an absolute mess. So I hope you got some use out of this video. Comment below if you have any questions or you think you will buy one of these awnings. Remember, if you got anything out of this video, the easiest way to support this channel is to just like the video and subscribe if you like more videos like this. If you want to find any more information about my online course, go to saltyvanventures.com. I'll leave all the links in the description below. But until next time, I'll see you later.